They thought Titan was just chasing ducks. But when the German shepherd dove into a frozen lake and didn't come back up, panic set in. Moments later, he surfaced, dragging a piece of a child's jacket. No one knew it yet, but Titan had just uncovered a chilling secret beneath the ice. Before we start, make sure to hit like and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. Snowflakes drifted gently through the cold morning air, blanketing the lakeside in a quiet hush. The Johnson family was outside, bundled in scarves and laughter, their breaths puffing white clouds as they built snowmen and tossed snowballs across the yard. The frozen lake shimmered under the pale sun, a perfect mirror of winter calm. Nearby, Titan, their loyal German shepherd, bounded through the snow, his tail wagging with uncontainable joy. Every few minutes, though, he'd stop, ears perked, eyes locked on the frozen lake. He let out a low whine, almost uneasy. The father chuckled, brushing it off. "What's wrong, boy?" "Just ice." Titan's gaze lingered on the lake a moment longer, before he finally turned back to play. It happened in an instant. One moment, Titan was rolling in the snow, the next, his head snapped toward the lake. A deep growl rumbled in his chest. Then he bolted. Snow sprayed behind him as his powerful legs carried him straight toward the frozen water. "Titan!" "No," the father shouted, dropping his coffee. The kids laughed at first, thinking he was chasing ducks near the reeds. But the laughter died when the ice cracked beneath Titan's paws with a haunting, echoing sound. "Stop! Come back!" the mother screamed, panic rising in her voice. Titan didn't slow. His bark cut through the cold air, desperate, urgent, like he was warning them of something unseen. Then came a sharp, thunderous crack. The surface splintered. In one horrifying second, Titan vanished into the icy water below. For a heartbeat, everything froze. The family, the world, the air itself. Then chaos erupted. The father sprinted toward the lake, boots slipping on the snow. "Titan!" he shouted, his voice cracking. The kids cried, clutching their mother's coat as she screamed his name again and again. He reached the edge, but the ice groaned under his weight. One more step and he'd go in too. He dropped to his knees, scanning the dark hole where Titan had disappeared. The water rippled, silent and black. Seconds felt like hours. Then movement. A flash of brown fur broke the surface, followed by frantic splashing. Titan gasped, thrashing, dragging something heavy through the freezing water. The father squinted, heart pounding. It wasn't a branch. It wasn't debris. Titan was gripping a torn jacket sleeve, a child's jacket. At first, the father thought Titan had caught a stick, but as the dog struggled closer to the edge, the truth hit like ice water. It wasn't a branch, it was fabric, a sleeve. A small, colorful jacket sleeve. The mother's hand flew to her mouth. "Oh my God. That's a child's coat," she gasped. The kids clung to her, eyes wide with fear. "Someone's under there," the father shouted, grabbing his phone with trembling fingers. He called emergency services, yelling the location through chattering teeth. Titan barked furiously, paddling in circles, diving again and again into the hole as if trying to reach something just beyond his grasp. Neighbors began gathering, drawn by the shouting. Their faces turned pale as they realized what they were seeing. The ice cracked wider, groaning like a warning. Then Titan dove once more, deeper this time. The seconds dragged on. He didn't come back up. Sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder with every passing second. The family stood frozen by the lake, praying Titan would resurface. Then through the shattered ice, bubbles broke the surface, followed by a diver's shout. "We've got something!" Firefighters and rescue divers rushed forward, crawling carefully across reinforced ladders laid over the fragile ice. The father pointed frantically. "Right there. That's where he went under." Moments later, two rescuers hauled a small, limp body from the icy water. A little boy, maybe 7 years old, his skin pale and lips blue. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Before anyone could react, another splash erupted beside them. Titan. The dog surfaced, exhausted, trembling, his fur coated in ice. He tried to climb out but collapsed halfway, still gripping the boy's torn sleeve. Paramedics rushed in. "Get blankets! Now!" one shouted. As one team began CPR on the child, another wrapped Titan in thermal sheets, his body shaking uncontrollably. The mother of the boy arrived moments later, screaming his name, falling to her knees as rescuers worked desperately to bring him back. For a moment, there was only silence, the kind that freezes time. Then a faint cough broke through the chaos. The little boy gasped, water spilling from his mouth as the paramedics cheered. The crowd erupted in cries and applause. He was alive. His mother sobbed, clutching him tightly as they wrapped him in warm blankets. "My baby, and thank God," she cried, her voice shaking with relief. One of the rescue officers turned to the father, still kneeling beside Titan. "Sir," he said quietly, "we just got word. The boy's from the next street over. He went missing this morning." The father's eyes widened. Missing, but how did Titan know? His mind flashed back to Dawn. Titan whining at the door, pawing the window, staring toward the lake for hours. He'd been trying to warn them all along. The father's throat tightened. He looked at his dog, now motionless under the blankets, frost clinging to his fur. "You knew, didn't you?" he whispered. "You were trying to save him." Titan's eyes fluttered weakly, his chest rising and falling in shallow breaths. Even in his exhaustion, there was peace in his gaze, as if he understood. Hours later, the world outside was calm again, but inside the small veterinary clinic, tension hung heavy. Titan lay on a padded table, wrapped in blankets, an IV slowly dripping beside him. His breathing was shallow but steady. The vet wiped his eyes and said softly, "It's a miracle he's alive." Next door, in the same hospital wing, the rescued boy slept peacefully, his mother never leaving his side. When she heard Titan had survived, she asked to see him. Quietly, she entered the room and knelt beside the German shepherd. Her hand trembled as she stroked his head. "Thank you," she whispered through tears. "You saved my baby." Titan's tail twitched once, just a faint movement, but enough to make everyone in the room cry. Even the vet had to turn away, wiping his eyes. Days later, Titan walked again, slower, weaker, but with the same proud spirit in his eyes. The story spread across town, and people began calling him the hero of the lake. The little boy visited often, bringing treats and gentle hugs. Each time Titan's tail wagged softly, his gaze full of quiet recognition. Standing by the lake where it all happened, the father looked out over the ice and whispered, "Titan didn't just break the ice that day. He broke every heart that saw what true loyalty looks like." If this story touched you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.